Good afternoon, folks. I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about, again, codependency and being empathetic and having empathy and possibly being an empath. I feel like it all goes hand in hand. It's so hard when you don't really know what true love is, right? And I think everything is just painted a nice pretty picture of how it's supposed to be, right? Society paints a beautiful picture. All the love movies you watch paint.
This one.
No, you can't have any of those, honey.
The natural and doggy.
They paint a beautiful picture of how it should be, right? So us as, humans, we watch these movies and we go down a rabbit hole or a tangent, and we're just like,
I get it for you, right?
wow, this is how it
Mom.
should be.
I
No one really
smell
knows.
it,
Okay.
Smell
Okay. Nobody.
I smell it.
Nobody really knows how it really is. But we get invested, especially if you had a traumatic childhood experience, right? We invest in these movies, and we believe our lives should be just like how the movies is. I know that, at least from my perspective, I know that's what I wanted. So with my ex, the whole fantasy of how it should be did not turn out well. So I was an asshole. He was also, but I know that, two negatives don't make a positive, right? So I can honestly sit there and claim that I was nasty because the vision that I had didn't come true. Needless to say, my son came out of the relationship and it was the most beautiful thing ever. But moving forward, what did I learn? I learned what I didn't want, right? At least from that perspective. And being treated that way. Now, on the other hand, now I have my husband, and it was everything that he's everything that I ever wanted to be ever treated like for where I was at that point. But there's also hidden perspectives that, go unknown for a very long time, and it starts to unravel eventually because you can't keep up that persona for too long. And now I'm starting to realize our differences in the fact that it's not always, it's not something I want to have, I guess not something I want, but I guess I want to endure on a deeper connection than where it's at, right? But in order to do that, there needs to be some sort of self-healing, right, on my part and on his part. And in order to do that, that requires focus, that requires patience, that requires on both parties. And that's hard to do now. We are 10 years in, 4 years this coming October married. And we have a little girl. She's 2. And my son is 13. So it's like, now we're trying to work on ourselves. It's like we went through this whole entire couple of years playing out that it felt like a false sense of living. Felt like a play, like how a TV show would go, And now that at least I could speak for myself now that I'm kind of stepping back and seeing the whole thing. I'm just like, wow, I was just playing this little part in this role of how things should be, like what you see on TV, what you think you see in other couples. You know what I mean? Everybody's living that best life. No. So it's just a little rough. It's rough for me because I felt like I've been living with such a mask on my face for so long. And it's definitely rough on him. Like in my last video, I did post about like being empath and codependent. And I just realized that like I was really codependent when we first started dating. Really codependent. Really, really, really codependent. And
Open this, Mom.
it was not
Open this,
until just
open this.
recently that I discovered that. Along with other things. But I feel like if there's no growth, if there's no growth in a relationship and the patterns just keep repeating, I feel like that's a dead end for me. And that required me to take a look at myself, do some self-inventory, and realize most likely we were trauma bonded. We trauma bond. And we were putting up false faces the whole entire time, unknowingly. And okay, Amber. I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about that, and if anybody can relate. I know now joining and doing these CODA meetings that it's probably more common than anybody would like to admit. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. I'm going through it. I'm in it. And my first reaction is to, my first old self reaction was to run. Fight or flight, right? Now I'm not fighting, but now I'm sitting in it. And it's the most uncomfortable state of being right now, but I have to sit in it. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Hope everyone has a good weekend. As I get painted here. My daughter's painting me right now. All over. Have a good day, guys.